Victorian houses on hillsides, ships cruising the Columbia River, and just enough quirky charm to keep life interesting. Welcome to Astoria, Oregon. This coastal town isn't just famous for movies like The Goonies. It's a real option for retirees looking for history, scenery, and a strong sense of community. Let's break down whether Astoria could be the right retirement spot for you. Astoria has a unique feel. It's Astoria is home to the Liberty Theater, a restored 1920s venue where you can catch live performances, concerts, and film screenings. Retirees often volunteer here or just enjoy the shows. Dozens of artists live and work in Astoria with monthly art walks that retirees love. The town leans into its Hollywood history. The Goonies and Kindergarten Cop were filmed here. Every June, Goonies Day draws fans from around the world. Astoria is a place where you can spend mornings at the farmers market, afternoons hiking or kayaking, and evenings listening to live music at a pub after catching a show at the Liberty Theater. Median home price around $420,000 to $460,000, more affordable than many other West Coast coastal towns. Rentals. A 2-bedroom runs about $1,200 to $1,600 per month. Utilities. Around $180 to $220 per month. Groceries. Similar to the U.S. average, though seafood can be both fresher and cheaper here than inland. Here's what those numbers translate into in everyday life. A modest 1-bedroom rental costs around $1,300 per month plus utilities. Buying a home, expect about $477,000 for the median, but waterfront or historic properties climb much higher. Add property taxes and maintenance, and it's a commitment. Seasonal costs matter. Electricity bills spike in winter, drop in summer. Groceries, gas, and extras run a bit above the U.S. average due to coastal shipping and tourist demand. So, let's talk numbers for a second. Renting a 1 or 2 bedroom place here is definitely manageable though. I mean, it's not exactly cheap. If you're looking to own, especially if you've got your heart set on a Victorian or a waterfront home, that's going to be quite a bit pricier. Honestly, housing is your biggest expense. It'll take the largest slice of your budget, no question. But things like utilities and groceries, they're pretty predictable, not extreme at all, especially when you compare them to bigger cities. Of course, transportation and those little extras can add up, especially if you travel a lot or need to see medical specialists more often. Overall, Astoria sits pretty close to the national average in terms of cost of living, which is actually kind of rare for such a scenic coastal spot. Columbia Memorial Hospital is the local full-service hospital, which is really convenient. If you need additional specialty care, you'll find options in nearby Seaside and Warrenton. And for those bigger procedures or advanced care, a lot of retirees head to Portland. It's about an hour and 45 minutes away. Your core health needs are definitely covered locally. Things like primary care, urgent care diagnostics, and a good number of specialties. Plus, the OHSU partnership actually improves access to specialists, bringing in resources from a top medical network. And public health services like immunizations and preventative care are also available right here in town. So the bottom line is that healthcare here is pretty accessible for your everyday needs. But if you ever need rare or advanced treatments, just be prepared for the occasional trip over to Portland. Honestly, you'll never run out of things to do around here, especially if you're into history or love spending time outdoors. For history buffs, you've got the Columbia River Maritime Museum, the Astoria Column, and of course, Fort Clatsop, which was Lewis and Clark's winter camp. And if you're more of an outdoors person, there's fishing, crabbing, kayaking, and hiking in the nearby state parks. Just a short 20-minute drive gets you to Seaside and Cannon Beach, which are honestly two of Oregon's most iconic coastal destinations. And when it comes to food and drink, you've got breweries, pubs, and really an endless supply of fresh seafood to enjoy. With river and ocean access, it's super common for retirees to pick up fishing, crabbing, or even kayaking. There are hiking trails at Fort Stevens State Park, Ecola State Park, and Cannon Beach, all close by. Plus, wildlife is everywhere. You'll spot sea lions, bald eagles, and all kinds of migratory birds. There are plenty of clubs and volunteering opportunities, like sailing clubs, quilting circles, art guilds, museums, and theaters. And honestly, the festivals are a big draw too. Seafood, beer, art, and heritage events really keep the calendar full. So, in short, life in Astoria really blends maritime tradition, artsy fun, and that small town friendliness folks love. Retirees can stay as active or honestly as laid back as they like. Okay, so downtown Astoria is super walkable, has historic homes, and is really close to shops and dining. Uniontown is a bit quieter, near the waterfront, and it's home to the fishing community. The Heights feels more suburban, with a mix of historic and newer homes. And just nearby, you've got Warrenton and Hammond, which are a little cheaper, offer more space, and have newer developments, but you're still really close to all the Astoria amenities. Crime is low overall here, mostly just petty theft that's tied to tourism. Violent crime is actually pretty rare. There's a strong sense of community, with lots of retirees already calling Astoria home. And volunteering is super common, whether it's at museums, historic sites, or local events. Festivals, outdoor markets, and art shows throughout the year. Astoria's Scandinavian immigrant legacy is still alive and well, celebrated with unique festivals and cultural heritage parks. And if you love the outdoors, you'll feel right at home. Kayaking, hiking, whale watching, and riverfront walks are all just part of everyday life around here. So, let's talk pros and cons. The friendly community, rich culture, and stunning scenery make it easy to connect and feel at home. But, property crime does happen, so it's smart to lock up your car and your house. Safety can vary depending on the neighborhood, and the stormy weather can definitely impact your daily routine. And for advanced medical emergencies, you may need to make the trip to Portland. So here's the classic Pacific Northwest coastal climate. Winters are usually in the 40s, rainy and windy. So yeah, you'll definitely want to bring a raincoat. Summers are mild, usually around 65 to 75 degrees, and you get those long daylight hours. Oh, and by the way, the annual rainfall is about 67 inches. That's actually wetter than Portland. If you hate heat, Astoria is honestly heaven. Summers here are comfortable and mild, but if gray, rainy weather tends to drag you down, Astoria winters might feel, a bit gloomy. A sun lamp or maybe a winter vacation can really help. Air quality is excellent, and the climate keeps everything lush and green all year round. Astoria is actually the oldest U.S. settlement west of the Rockies, founded way back in 1811 by John Jacob Astor's Fur Company. And, fun fact, it's got some movie fame too. The Goonies, Kindergarten Cop, Free Willy, and Short Circuit were all filmed right here. The Astoria Column stands 125 feet tall, decorated with murals of local history, and you'll get some pretty amazing panoramic views at the top. The Astoria-Megler Bridge stretches 4.1 miles across the Columbia River into Washington. It's actually the longest continuous truss bridge in North America. And if you're into craft beer, Astoria is known as a bit of a beer capital, with one of the highest brewery counts per capita in the U.S. So, is Astoria the retirement town for you? If you want coastal living, history, great food, and a community that's both small town and culturally rich, it's definitely worth considering. Would you retire in Astoria, Oregon? Let me know in the comments. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my Dream Big Relocation Planner. It's linked below to help you plan your retirement anywhere in the U.S. or abroad.